What's cracking? Watching old Jacob Fatu matches from GCW, do you think Zilla will be in the WWE soon? I do, and we're going to get to that. I think I was wrong about Zilla as well. I think I was wrong, guys. I was wrong about the Bloodline, and that's a good thing. Or not like about them at all. Like the series of which they're being brought in, I'm totally correct about, right? But just how and what side of the fence they're on is all just discombobulated. But what we do know for sure is that we are getting Roman and the Usos aligning once more. We do absolutely know that that's going to happen. Like, it's got to, and it's going to be them versus Solo and GODs, which is incredible. We're going to get into that as we go. Jacob Fatu has 7 kids, and I'm in line to give him number 8. Whoa!
What?
You what? God damn. And he's looking good too now, right, Jess? Like, I mean, he really body-yaddied up before he debuted in WWE. You know what I mean? That's where he was. We were all like, where is he? He's like, I'm going to lose 20 and bulk up 10, you know? And it's like, okay, brother, I see you. And the way they booked him was phenomenal, you know, being the Samoan who, you know, they brought in the Tongans and they're vicious, evil, Tongans, bloodthirsty. And then Fatu, the whole rumor, like if you're an internet smarky smark like Phil Marks, he's been to jail. His you know, he's got 7 kids. He's really hood. He's a really hood Fatu guy. You know what I mean? He's a real dude. If there ever was a real dude in pro wrestling, and he's a dangerous, like he can't come into WWE. I thought that that's why they were going to bring Fatu in as the dancing happy Jay and Jimmy partner, because I was like, it's obvious they bring him in as like, oh, he's a dangerous man. That was the obvious thing, but that's good. Yeah, so Jacob Fatu, he's this dangerous guy. He's like a criminal. He's like blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? And that was, I think, the obvious route. And so that's why I thought they'd swerve it on its ear. And they did stick him with Solo, but he's Solo. It's not like, well, him and Solo are going to do the monster, but we just saw Jacob take off the top turnbuckle through the announce table outside, and we're going to see, like, he's going to be flipping around, but don't expect them to. They're going to get his powerhouse moves over first. So he's going to, you know, he's going to do the pop-up bombs, the pop-up drops, the super kicks. Obviously, all the Samoans do that other than, like, Roman. You're going to get, he's going to do all of those moves, get those over first, and then he'll start, like, when he goes babyface, we'll see a moonsault at Survivor Series or whatever like that. But yeah, man, I really, really, really love what they're doing. And I say it's time to involve like Nia Jax and Tamina and Ava Raine. And who else do they got? The Tongan twins left WOW, I think, or Glow or whatever it was, Glorious Ladies of Wrestling. And so they're twins, like female Tongan twins is their name. And they could come in and as well, right? Like, and you have a women's tag team division. Like, why not, man? Why not? Let's see it. So I say just go all out, and it's slowly but surely happening, and it's just awesome. But and the big dog Dakota Kai, yeah, I think she's like Tongan, right? But I don't think she's in the bloodline technically, right? And that's the thing with Tama Tonga and Tongaloa, like they are in the bloodline, like by Haku. Those are his adopted sons, you know, so it's not by blood, but especially like, you know, I'm indigenous people, like Aboriginal cultures and tribes, like that means everything, you know, like blood, ceremony, families crossing over, like that does mean everything, truly. It makes you family. As much as The Rock and Roman go, we're family, and people are like, well, they aren't really. It's like, yeah, they are, dude. You know, that matters so much in these cultures. So, yeah, I just love it so much, and I hope they bring the Tongan twins in. Let's expand it to the women. But here we go. Doc Chris Mueller. The show opens up, and I believe it was in Chicago. So, yeah. So Punk. The show opens up, and CM Punk comes out. And the crowd erupts, and he's like, look at this live audience. And he's doing Edge's gimmick where he runs to side, but he actually can greet all the fans, and because there's actually fans in the crowd. And it was awesome. He starts lacing it up on the mic, and then Paul Heyman comes out, and he starts cooking on the mic too. You get the ECW chants, you get the We Want Roman chants, and Paul's distraught, and he comes out and says, you know, Punk, like, you got to get out of here because these guys, like the Tongans and Solo, they're going to beat you down. Like, you need to acknowledge them and get the f out of here. And then CM Punk's like, yeah, like, what is the favor? There was something, they go in depth about, like, there's some favor, like, if you do this favor for me and leave, like, or I'll ask a favor of you or whatever. And Punk's like, what's the favor? And then Paul's like, take me with you. So, like, he's distraught, man. He needs Roman to come back so bad. They're building up to this so well of, like, when Roman comes back, you guys, oh my God, it's going to be, as Jim Cornette would say, there will be babies in the air. Punk's just basically like you know? So then they hit the ring. Cody runs out. Cody Rhodes with a baseball bat. And him and Punk sort of fend them off. They don't really get in a fight, but it is what it is. And then later, we see Punk. I can't remember where it was, but he's all beat up and bloodied at the hands of Drew McIntyre. So Drew McIntyre beats him down, bloodies him up. Money in the Bank is in Toronto. Punk's all bloody and beaten up, and Drew McIntyre's holding him and carries him to the ring, leaves him there. Aldis comes out, the best GM, like, he's getting right in Drew's face, pushing him back, like, let's go. Yeah, Roman got a chant during the Punk segment in Chicago. That's how over he is. Yeah, and Punk said that. He's like, he's like, Paul Heyman, I think you're the only guy who could interrupt a Punk promo and get a Roman Reigns chant going. He's like, Paul Heyman's the only guy who could ever do that, which is so true. Punk's bloodied, beaten up. He gets stretchered out. Drew McIntyre snapped, but obviously he didn't quit WWE. Like, he's clearly part of the story. Then we have Bianca and Jade backstage. Jade was a little cringe. I'm not going to lie. They have a three-way. Bianca, Michin, Chelsea Green. Obviously, they're going to build up to that Bianca Jade deception, and they're going to duke it out and fight. We know that. Bianca, however, hits the KOD on Michin. Chelsea throws her out of the ring, covers Michin. Chelsea Green is in the Money in the Bank, and I thought the match was excellent. So this SmackDown, great story work, great promo work, phenomenal crowd, wonderful matches, awesome matches. All of the matches were awesome. So this one was really good. This three-way was like, wow, I enjoyed it thoroughly, and the finish was great. It's what you got to do, and now we have, because right before the match, Bianca and Jade were like, yeah, you go, like, Jade's like, you'll go win your match, and you don't even need good luck, and blah, 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 blah. And it's all just basically building up to one of them's going to turn on the other. I could see Jade being the one to go heel as well. Stick her with a mouthpiece or something. But anyways, Carmelo Hayes, Orton, and Tama Tonga wrestled in a triple threat match. We also had a moment backstage where Michin was backstage, and then she's like talking to Tiffany Stratton and slaps her. And then Nia comes out of nowhere and just blasts Michin. And then Tiffy walks off with her, sort of. And it feels as though we might get like Nia as Tiffany's heater. You know what I mean? Which I'm cool with if that's what they decide to do. But it would be awesome if it was like, if Ava Raine could work in the ring good enough. And I'm not trying to diss her, but like, if she was a good enough worker, like, she could have Nia as her heater, and Tamina as her. I think Tamina's like retired now, but they could call her anytime. Like, this bloodline, you know what I mean? I would call the women faction the Anna Y.E. Flowers or something like that. I think I said that on the show before, but yeah, that's my little fantasy mark booking. I'm a geek. Anyway, so so this triple threat here, we got more or less of the same. So it could have became a little convoluted, if you will, if the whole show wasn't so stellar. Like, you could argue, wow, they really did this in 2 triple threats in a row, but it really made sense for everyone involved, right? Like, I don't need to see Randy in a Money in the Bank match killing himself. I don't need to see, or deleting himself. I'm sorry, delete. I don't need to see, like, Tama Tonga's got his thing going on. Carmelo Hayes was the guy to win this match. And same with Chelsea. She was the girl to win the last one. But how do you get there? Well, what happens? This match was great as well. Tama's doing such great work. And Melo was selling his ass off for everyone. And what happens? He rolls up Randy Orton. And I implore you to go and watch the finish. Like, that's how you do a roll-up where the guy gets caught by surprise. The way Orton is selling the roll-up by Hayes, That's what makes him the goatee. You know what I mean? That's what makes Orton able to say he's better than Kenny Omega or any of these other guys. You don't need to. It's not about, like, pro wrestling ain't about, oh, this crazy move. It is if it's like a moment, but when you're selling the way Orton did when he gets rolled up, it's the littlest, dumbest thing I'm bringing up to you guys, but those are the details are what matter. The details accumulate and paint a greater picture of everything, and it's the little things that WWE does so well. And I say it all the time about AEW as we watch Collision. It's surface level. That's what I mean by that. There's no layers to it. There's no subtleties. There's no nuance. There's no detail. It's just people saying and then fighting. Okay? So that's what I'm trying to do with this show a lot of the time, is show you guys the little subtle things. So when Orton gets rolled up and his struggle to get out of the pin and how he's like hand fighting with Melo sort of and stuff, that's the little things that just make it's so good. Chef's kiss. Anyways, blowing it to death. Love Orton. You guys already know. Great. Grayson Waller versus Kevin Owens versus Andrade. Now at this point, I'm over the triple threats. Also, sorry, I skipped over. There was a segment where, or I maybe didn't skip over it yet, but LA Knight comes out. Yeah, here we got to give our boys due. LA Knight. Yeah. So he comes out, he cuts a great promo, dude, and he's like calling out Logan Paul, this and that. Santos comes out, I believe, and is like, what did he say? Like, you're fighting me or whatever. Like, you got to deal with me too. Don't just worry about Logan type. And then Logan out of nowhere, like unannounced on a SmackDown show, and he's really about it when it comes to wrestling, and I appreciate that with him, man. And he showed up and he did business with LA Knight, and he laid it in and he made it look good, and everything he's doing is awesome. So shout out Logan Paul, and I can't remember if that segment happened before or after this, but I digress. We get into this triple threat. So Kevin Owens' leg gets hurt at some point. You know, there's brawls with the Bloodline and everything, like Orton and KO and all of that. It's all interweaving, and so he's in a triple threat with Waller and Andrade, El Idolo. And so again, we're okay. So it's like Andrade's the guy we all want to see in the ladder match, right, folks? Kevin Owens is busy. Waller's a tag champ. Like, how do we get there, though? You know, the current speed champ, Andrade, as well. How do we get there? Before and surrounding, like, there's extra security in case the Fireflies show up or whatever, like, or the Wyatt Six. You know, like, there's just, you're on the edge of your seat. It's so tense and intense, and it's very much like, what's going to happen? There's a lot of that going throughout the whole night, and so, like, it's not a schmoz really, but KO's out there selling his leg. But it's just to make it like KO's can't, otherwise he should be just winning this match automatically, right? So they're doing awesome stuff here. Owens eats a DDT on the outside from Waller. Waller goes to do his finish where he jumps through like the middle and bottom rope, somersaults, jumps up and hits the flatliner. And Andrade catches him in the air with his like double underhook spinny neck breaker move. I forget what he calls it now. There's a name for it, but maybe he has it here. I don't know. Yeah, but man, that finish was like, dude, like it was like an RKO out of nowhere level of dude jumps from the outside of the ring into the ring, jumps in the air, gets caught, does a 360 spin neck breaker, boom, 1, 2, 3, just phenomenal. Like a great match. This guy right here, the sunset flip power bomb out of the ring looked nasty. It absolutely did. Andrade's he's so good, man. So happy he's in WWE. And then the main event. So earlier in the night, when Cody comes out and he saves Punk, he goes, yo, I'm going to fight you solo, one-on-one. These guys are barred from the Tongans aren't allowed. Kevin and Randy will stay in the back and Punk will be gone or whatever. You know, he won't come help me. And of course, he wouldn't be able to because Drew beat his ass. And yeah, you know, it's just me and you. Let's do it. And then Solo's like, okay, let's do it. So, of course, the match is great. It's awesome. And this is a solid TV match. And some people might be like, oh, the Bloodline run out again. It's like, yes, dude. Old habits die hard. It's something that we know is going to happen. So it's like a narrative tool. It's a story tool they can use to, like, they almost foreshadowed it, but they didn't really, you know, like we knew, okay, if the Tongans aren't there, but then they run out anyways, and we go, well, of course. So it doesn't really matter that the Tongans weren't there, but then Jacob shows up. So if the Tongans were nowhere to be found, you could predict, oh, Jacob's going to show up probably, or Hikuleo. But it's the fact that they then did run out anyways, and then we all go, we're not expecting any, we're just like, okay, it's just the typical beatdown, right? And then when the baby faces get the upper hand, you don't expect Solo to come out, or pardon me, you don't expect Jacob Fatu to come out. Still, I felt like it's Solo's gonna get his, something weird's gonna happen, maybe Heyman gets in between, or maybe, who knows, right? We don't know. Maybe it's Hikuleo's time, whatever. It's Jacob, and he comes out looking like a bloody savage. He's bloodlined up. He's jacked up. As I said earlier, he dropped 20 of fat. He bulked up 10 of muscle, it looks like. He looks spry, man. He was moving around really well. His facials, like just getting over the fact, like, yeah, this guy's terrifying. Keep him away. You know, everyone's like, we heard the rumors. Like, he's such a dangerous guy. Blah, blah, blah. He stacks Cody up on the announce table, you know, jumps off the top rope from the ring, Logan Paul style, to the announce table, crushes Cody Rhodes. What else, man? He super kicked and he laid those kicks in, daddy. Because like KO and Orton and them run out, you know, to save Cody or whatever. And yeah, man, Fatu laid in those kicks. I didn't know. I was like, is he going to do a moon? I don't know. He did a pop-up Samoan drop on the stairs to KO. He sprinted around the ring, Roman style, speared. And I love that they have these moves that the Samoans have always kind of done, and Roman really made the spear one of those now, to where it's like the new generation of Samoans are all using the spear through the barricade. I absolutely love it. Joining us on the show here right now, guys, not to diverge, but Evil Ghost, round of applause. He's going to talk to us. I'm wrapping up SmackDown here, my review of it, and so pretty much I blew it to death, guys, and I think they see Hikuleo as the tall, handsome, white meat baby face. Like, look at Hikuleo, here's this tall other Samoan we have, and then he'll be the little brother. It'll be like brothers trying to convince their brothers, you understand? So Solo is the Usos' little brother, and then Hikuleo is the Tongans' little brother. And then it'll be like those brothers trying to convince the other brothers, like, hey, smarten up. You're being too crazy. And yeah, Jacob Fatu swerved me. I thought he'd be a baby face doing backflips and all that. But nah, they got him being a heel. Evil Ghost, how did you feel about Jacob Fatu's finally he's here in WWE?
Awesome. I thought SmackDown from top to bottom was an A+. It was a great show. And I think that this Bloodline Civil War, while we're going to be teasing it for a while, I think it's going to take a lot longer than people think. I think we're going to get a Cody and the Avengers versus Bloodline before we get a Bloodline Civil War.
I agree with you on that, and I saw you tweeted that out, and I couldn't agree more. I gave it a heart, and yeah, I think we also see that too. I think we see Cody and the Avengers assemble versus this evil Bloodline, and then we'll slowly see the Bloodline be like come back together, like the OG Bloodline with Hikuleo or whatever, and possibly Zilla, who, again, someone asked me earlier, so I'll answer it now. I had said Zilla needs work. He has a background too, like a history, like Jacob. And those who know. And he needs a lot of work. I saw him in OVW. He looked really green. I watch him quite frequently. He's in Reality of Wrestling, but he too has really jacked and bodied himself up. And that, whenever somebody like Punk or anyone bodies up and they're a free agent or you got to know they're getting ready for their debut in WWE. That's probably what Hikuleo's doing too. He's probably getting jackied because he's a big dude, but he's skinnier, like a little on the scrawnier side compared to his brothers. So, yeah, I don't know, man. Zilla, I think they will bring him probably main roster sooner than we think. I heard NXT first. That's what I was hearing. People were like, nah, he's going NXT first. But that's neither here nor there because I think he's just going straight main roster with how hot. And I mean, they have time. It's not like the Samoans got to do much. They just beat the shit out of everybody and kind of dip out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think him and Hikuleo will ride both brands. I think they'll get their training and whatnot on NXT, but I think they'll be part of the beatdown crew on the main roster, and they'll be like the Bloodline's representatives, at NXT. So I think they can do both. It's not that difficult to do it logistically, and not everyone needs to be on every show. But it's fun to think about. But it's not like Zillow's coming in completely blank. And Hikuleo, I mean, what is he, 6'8", 6'9", and he's worked with New Japan Strong, and done some other stuff as well. So, it's gonna be fun. I'm enjoying the ride. Last week's SmackDown was just okay. It was a barely passable go home show, but this week, this whole week with WWE was great. Now, it might be that I'm in my 7th week free of AEW, so maybe I'm just enjoying things more.
Well, you're not the only one, man. A lot of people weren't watching AEW. I like how WWE is starting to slowly push their younger talent. Examples: Ludwig, Grayson, Braun, Andrade, and Melo. Waller lost triple threat, but looked really good. Exactly, and he's a tag champ. And also, Triple H never got to fully live out his black and gold, like, into the main roster vision that he had. Vince always sort of dampened and stifled that, and so now we're going to see him in HBK really show you how, like, Triple H's vision was of, like, how we're gonna get the talent in NXT to the main roster and push them down the line. And NXT's outdrawing Dynamite, which we're going to talk about in a minute. Like, it's the proof is in the pudding, the proof is in the numbers, or if you're Sean Ross Sapp, the proof is in Black Panther 1 movie that I guess aired on TNT. We'll get into all that. Let's not forget how good of a job that Graves and Wade did during Fatu's segment. So much better than Sockface, and that can't be overstated or understated enough. Whichever one. Okay.
Sockface.
Yeah, Excalibur.
Okay. I think of Sockface now. I think of Dave Meltzer. So.
Yeah, he's egg face because he's got egg all over his face, man. Like, exactly. This isn't just like, in one time in New Japan Strong they battled and ended in a submission.
I don't think Dave Meltzer is egg face. I think he's always been Humpty Dumpty, and just people have been seeing his shell has finally cracked off.
Yeah, you're right about it, man. But yeah, dude, Excalibur's doing commentary for Meltzer, and Graves and Wade did a great job of just looking scared. Like, I know, I watched the segment twice because I loved it so much, and so you just look at the background characters and you see them freaking out, and everyone's just firing in all cylinders. And yeah, this week of WWE was absolutely phenomenal, and the commentary is so elite, dude. Graves and Wade are awesome on SmackDown. Over on Raw, you got Cole and Barrett, and then, you got Cole and McAfee, and then on SmackDown, even Vic and Booker. I know people give Booker, but I love Booker, dude, and especially the flavor of what NXT is as of late. It's you need Booker there. You need him there to be able to just do what he's doing, man. Like, think about Booker and Trick, dude. That's like peanut butter and jelly to me. So yeah, just WWE really just had an awesome week. Someone said, "What's up, awful wrestling," in the chat, but
I think Wade's the best. I think Wade's been the best in the business for years.
Just round of applause for WWE, I guess, this week, and we'll transition into some other stuff.